I beat the shit out of my half-brother after finding out he was planning to assault a girl. I 22M live in a third world country in South America and I need to get this off my chest because I'm honestly at the edge. My half-brother is 18M and I've never met anyone like him. Ever. From the time he was a toddler, there was something seriously off about him. I know that sounds dramatic, but I mean it. He never cried, he screamed. He didn't throw tantrums like normal kids. He'd break things. Hurt himself. Hurt other people. I remember him biting our mom so hard once that she bled. He was like 3. We took him to psychologists, neurologists, anyone who might have answers. They tested him for autism, ADHD, antisocial behavior, everything came back inconclusive. They tried meds, which made him sleep more, but his personality. Still terrifying. And he's not dumb. That's what makes it worse. He's smart. He knows how to act normal when it benefits him. He's charming to strangers, says all the right things to teachers. But behind closed doors, it's manipulation, lies, gaslighting, intimidation. I caught him researching Hitler and Nazi tactics once, despite the fact that our grandfather was Jewish. It wasn't for school, he was just interested. Obsessed. I told my parents and they brushed it off. Said he's just curious. Nah. This was something darker. He knew what he was doing. Then something changed. Around 13 to 15, he mellowed out. Became more normal. Even funny. I thought maybe, just maybe, he was growing out of the evil. I introduced him to my friends, even brought him around girls. People liked him. He had a nice girlfriend, got decent grades, even played soccer. It felt like a win. But nope. That was just his new mask. At 16, I started hearing things. He was hanging around sketchy guys, local rappers with rap sheets longer than a CVS receipt. One of these dudes was known for robbery and allegedly tried to assault a girl last year. I saw my brother laughing in a video with this guy like they were best friends. I confronted him and he just smirked. Said he's chill, bro. I felt sick. My brother, the same kid who used to throw chairs at teachers, was now hanging out with borderline criminals and enjoying it. It wasn't peer pressure. He chose this. And my parents? Still defending him. He's misunderstood. No, he's dangerous. He knows I'm the only one who ever scared him. I'm bigger, stronger, and I train. But I never touched him. I just made sure he knew not to cross certain lines. Then I found out what he was planning and all that keeping him in check. It meant nothing. A few weeks ago, one of our mutual friends, Kian, not his real name, was throwing this big party. Like one of those out-of-town resort things where everyone from our old friend groups and nearby schools were invited. Alcohol, girls, music, nature, no parents, no supervision, just chaos in the making. I was planning to go, already picking out my fits and packing my stuff. My brother was going too, and I didn't think much of it at the time. Even though I don't trust him, he's always been slick about hiding the worst of himself. He can be in the same room as you and you wouldn't even notice the snake slithering beneath the smile. That's when I overheard it. He was talking to one of his sketchy, always high friends on the phone. Didn't even realize I was in the hallway. I couldn't hear everything at first, but then I caught the name. Allison. Everyone knows her. She's like next level beautiful, untouchable, elegant, smart, out of everyone's league kind of girl. Guys talk about her like she's a celebrity. And this sick little bastard? He was talking about spiking her drink. He literally said, yo, I swear I'll get her so faded she won't know what's happening. After that easy, I'll be the first one. You could even go after if she's too far gone. I froze. I remember my ears ringing. I replayed it in my head like I didn't just hear what I heard. But I did. I heard every damn word. My hands started shaking. I walked into the room and stared him down. He immediately tried to play it off. It was a joke, bro. Then switched stories. I was making it up to look cool. Then finally, this might be my only shot, man. You don't get it. I'm not gonna hurt her. Just let it happen. And then the final blow, if you keep quiet, I'll let you have your turn too. I snapped. Something broke in me. This wasn't about being a big brother anymore. This wasn't about discipline. This wasn't a phase. This was a monster in my house. And he wanted me to join in? I don't even remember throwing the first punch. I remember his nose cracking, I remember him falling, and I remember not stopping. I was screaming, punching, dragging him. I've never hit someone like that in my life. I felt like I was on fire. My parents rushed in, but I couldn't hear them. It was just rage. Pure disgust and heartbreak. I stopped when I realized he pissed himself. Blood all over his face and he was just sobbing, curled up. I stood there, chest heaving, hands shaking. And then I walked out. After I left the room, I didn't go far. I just sat on the stairs, head in my hands, heart pounding so loud it felt like it was in my throat. Couldn't breathe right. My fists were sore. My knuckles scraped, and I felt sick. Not regret, not guilt. Just shock and disgust. How the hell did it get this far? I could still hear my brother wailing in the background. My parents were panicking. My mom crying. My stepdad shouting my name. They kept calling out, but I just sat there, numb. Eventually, my mom found me. She looked at me like I had just murdered someone. Like I wasn't her son. She said my name, her voice shaking, and all I could say was, ask him what he was planning to do to Allison. She blinked. What? Ask him what he said. Ask him who he was on the phone with. Ask him what he told me. She just stood there. My stepdad came around the corner then and slapped me across the face. Hard. The kind of slap meant for discipline but also shock. I didn't flinch. I just looked at him and repeated the same thing. Ask your son what he was going to do. He yelled at me for being violent. Said this wasn't the way. Said I nearly killed his son. And I lost it again. Not physically, but verbally. I unloaded everything. Years of watching this manipulative psycho get away with everything because he wore a mask of charm. The real him, the boy who tortured animals when no one was watching, who lied without blinking, who enjoyed people's pain. I told them everything. Word for word what I heard. They didn't believe me. After everything, they still clung to this idea of him being redeemable. That he was troubled, not evil. That I must have misunderstood. That maybe he was just talking crap to impress his friend. It shattered something inside me. The ambulance came to take him, bloodied, crying, humiliated. I didn't feel bad. I didn't even look at him. But for the first time since I've known him, he looked small. Like he was afraid of me. And maybe that's what he needed. But the worst part? I cried later. In the shower, sitting on the floor like some pathetic wreck. Not because I hit him, but because I felt like I'd failed. I tried everything. I was the only one who ever tried to pull him out of his own darkness, and he chose this. The police came that same night. Not because of what I did, but because my brother, bloody nose and all, needed medical attention, and apparently the hospital flagged the injuries. So now suddenly, I'm not just the older brother who lost control. I'm the violent criminal. They questioned me first. 4 hours. Like I was some psycho who beat up his little brother over a petty fight. I kept my story straight. Calm, clear. I told them exactly what I overheard. The girl's name. The phone call. The whole plan about spiking her drink. I said everything with a straight face. I didn't try to sound emotional, I just wanted it all out. One of the officers, an older guy, kept looking at me differently. Like he knew I wasn't lying. But they still had to do their job, right? So they searched our house. And that's when shit blew wide open. They didn't even need a warrant. My stepdad stupidly allowed it, probably thinking they'd find nothing. Instead, they found everything. Inside an old busted TV box my brother had tucked away in the attic, they found weed. Not surprising. Then they found these weird, homemade weed cigars dipped in some local drug mix. Turns out it was laced with cocaine. But that wasn't even the worst part. They found several phones. Stolen ones. Jewelry. Cash stacks rubber banded together. AF * King Taser. My mom started crying instantly. Like the reality of her precious boy being a full-on criminal finally hit. My stepdad just stood there in silence. Pale. Like he was seeing a ghost. I sat in the corner watching it all unfold. And I felt nothing. Just empty. They questioned my brother after they patched him up. He didn't cry. Didn't yell. Just sat there. Quiet. For the first time in his goddamn life. When the cops asked about the drugs and stolen stuff, he just shrugged. Said he didn't know what they were talking about. But when they asked about the girl, Allison, he cracked. Not fully. But enough. He said we were just joking. Just guy talk. I wasn't really going to do anything. But you could tell. The cops knew. His voice trembled. After they left, I sat alone in the kitchen. The house was dead quiet. My mom finally came over. Her eyes swollen from crying. And she whispered, I'm sorry. I wanted to believe her. I really did. But the damage had already been done. After the cops left, everything changed in our house. The air felt heavier. Like something poisonous was still lingering. My mom walked around like a ghost, barely eating. My stepdad stopped speaking to anyone. And my brother, he just disappeared into his room. No apologies. No remorse. Nothing. The next day, I got a call from Kian, the guy throwing the party. Turns out someone else overheard my brother talking about Allison too. Kian confronted him a day before the party was supposed to happen. My brother threatened him, said he'd make him disappear if he opened his mouth. That's when Kian uninvited him from the party altogether. Didn't tell me because, well, he thought I already knew. Hearing that? It made everything feel worse. This wasn't a one-time dumb idea. He'd been planning this. Carefully. He was only stopped because someone else had the balls to shut him down first. And even after that, he was still trying to go. My parents were in complete denial. Even with the drugs, the stolen phones, and the police report, my mom kept saying, maybe he's just lost. Maybe he's going through something. My stepdad wouldn't say it out loud, but I could tell he still blamed me for hitting him. Like somehow this was all my fault for snapping. So I made a decision. I packed my bags and left. I didn't yell. Didn't make a scene. I just looked my brother in the eye as I walked out the door and told him, you're not my brother anymore. He didn't flinch. Didn't speak. Just stared at the floor like the coward he is. I moved in with a friend across town. Kian, actually. His parents took me in without question. Said what I did saved that girl from something awful. And honestly, I believe it. The guilt I had from beating him up? Gone. Replaced with disgust. Not just at him, but at the whole damn system. The fact that people like him can hide behind fake smiles and sweet talk. That they get chance after chance, while the rest of us are left cleaning up the damage. I've since messaged Allison anonymously and warned her. Told her to stay far, far away from him. No response, but I hope she took it seriously. Sometimes I still cry. Not out of guilt anymore, but because I genuinely mourn the idea of who I thought my brother could have been. The boy I protected. The kid I let into my world. He's gone. Maybe he never existed at all. About a week after I moved in with Kian, I got a text from my mom. Just one line. Please come home. We need to talk. I stared at it for an hour before replying. I didn't want to go back, but something in me, the part that still hadn't given up on my parents, said I should. So I went. The house looked the same, but it felt different. Quieter. Colder. My mom sat on the couch wringing her hands while my stepdad stood by the window, arms crossed. Neither of them looked at me right away. Then they dropped the bomb. They wanted me to apologize. I genuinely thought I misheard. I laughed. Out loud. Thought it was a joke. But no, they were serious. Said the police were threatening to open a case on me for assault if my brother decided to press charges. That I should just say sorry so he wouldn't go through with it. That's when I realized something clicked in them, but not in the way I hoped. They weren't trying to protect me. They were still clinging to this fantasy version of my brother. The one who just needed guidance or discipline. They were scared for him. Not of what he'd done, but of what the world would do to him now that he'd been exposed. I stood there for a long time. Not yelling. Not crying. Just numb. Then I said, if he ever steps near a woman again and I find out, I'll finish what I started. Don't ever call me about him again. And I walked out. I could hear my mom sobbing behind me. But I didn't stop. I couldn't. A few days later, I heard from another mutual friend that my brother was bragging to some people online, some incel-type chat group, about how he survived a beatdown and how his brother went crazy because he was jealous. Jealous. That word. I've never wanted to disappear so bad in my life. I took screenshots. Sent them to the officer who interviewed me during the incident. Just to have it on record. I don't know if they'll ever do anything with it, but it made me feel slightly better knowing that at least someone saw the truth. I haven't talked to my family since. My brother is spiraling, from what I hear. His old gang buddies don't want anything to do with him after he tried to throw one of them under the bus during the police search. The girl he was dating dumped him after seeing the screenshots. And me? I'm just trying to live. But some nights I still lie awake wondering. What if I hadn't overheard the conversation? What if he had gone through with it? Would I have been able to live with myself? Life after cutting off your family is weird. It feels like someone just hit the mute button on a part of your soul. I didn't realize how much of my identity was wrapped up in them, even if most of it was just holding everything together while my brother lit matches and watched us all burn. Living with Kian has been grounding. He's one of those guys who doesn't say much but sees everything. Never pushed me to talk. Just handed me a beer one night and said, "That was fucked up, man," and that was enough. We never spoke more than a few words about it after that. I started working more. Hit the gym harder. Focused on anything that kept my mind off the chaos. But at night, the silence hit different. I'd scroll through my camera roll, see random photos of me and my brother as kids smiling at the beach, posing with our mom on birthdays, and it would mess me up all over again. He looked normal back then. We both did. I've thought a lot about whether he was born like this or just became it. But every memory I dig up has something off. Like that one time he accidentally locked our neighbor's cat in the washing machine. Or when he convinced a kid at school to jump from a balcony during a dare. Then laughed when the kid broke his arm. We were like 11. I always made excuses for him. Maybe he was just struggling. Maybe he just needed love. But man, you can only hold a mirror up to a demon so many times before you admit the reflection's just evil. Last week, I ran into Allison. Yeah, her. She was out with a group of friends. I saw her across the bar. And for a second, my stomach dropped. Not because of anything bad, but because for the first time I saw her safe. Smiling. Surrounded by people who weren't monsters. She didn't know anything. Never found out. And maybe that's for the best. I didn't talk to her. Just paid my tab and left. But walking out of there, I realized something. Maybe what I did didn't save the world. Maybe it didn't even save my family. But it might have saved her. And if there's even a 1% chance that I stopped something horrific from happening, then the blood, the bruises, the broken family, it was worth it. I don't know what the future holds. But I've learned this. Sometimes doing the right thing makes you the villain in your own family. And that's okay. Because I'd rather be the villain in their story than the coward in hers.